In fact, I'm standing on Malcolm X's Boulevard. I've been meeting up with some fantastic women in business. We've had a fashion agent, a woman that owns her own restaurant in Soho, and also the lady that was responsible for bringing Essence magazine to the UK. So make sure you don't go anywhere. Make sure you follow the interviews as I sit down and find out what they've had to say with me. Okay, well, first of all, thank you, Brenda and Anthony, for allowing me to come into your beautiful establishment. We are at B. Braxton's.
Yes.
In Harlem.
Yes.
In the infamous Harlem.
Yes.
Okay, so before I go on to the parlour and your relationship, both your working and your marriage, I want to talk, Miss Braxton, to you for a little minute. I read your resume. Jeez. I mean, can I go through the list?
Yes.
Okay, so you're in Chicago.
Yes.
You play Velma.
Yes.
And that's the character, the all that jazz character.
Yes.
So can I be rude and get like 5-10 seconds of a little vocal?
And all that jazz!
Woo, she did it, okay. So you're in there, but your previous credits include things like Clat's, Smokey Joe's Cafe, in which you have won a Tony Award.
It was nominated for a Tony.
Nominated for a Tony Award, which is fantastic.
Yes.
How did that come about?
It's interesting. I was doing another show in Washington, D.C., and they wanted to do Lieber and Stoller, it's all their music, and they wanted to do a kind of review. And I was rehearsing for this other show, and in the same building, a friend of mine came upstairs to where I was rehearsing and said, "Do you know that they're casting a show downstairs and they're looking for a Brenda Braxton type?" And I was like, "What do you mean a Brenda Braxton type? I'm right here."
Right.
So I ran downstairs and I auditioned for them and ended up getting the show, and it ended up going to Chicago first and then coming back to Broadway, and we were on Broadway for 5 years.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah.
Congratulations. But the awards don't stop there. I mean, in addition to being nominated for a Tony Award, you've also received an NAACP Theatre Award. And am I right in saying that you received a Grammy?
We got the Grammy for Best Cast Album for Smokey
Look,
Joe's
let me,
Cafe.
look, 1 minute. Let me just do this.
Thank you.
Fantastic. You've won a number of awards, and one of those is the Martin Luther King Award, Living the Dreams. For those of us that are in the UK that don't know what that's about, can you just explain?
When I was doing Smokey Joe's Cafe on Broadway, I started an organization called Leading Ladies Just for Teens. And what I would do is hold seminars on Sunday morning for teenage girls for self-esteem, empowerment, setting goals, having dreams. And we would talk for about 2 hours. They'd watch me put my show makeup on. Then they'd go backstage and meet the cast, meet the women who worked backstage in different capacities. They'd see the show, get autographs, and it was a nice afternoon for them, you know, and they got to see women who were really doing something and making something of their lives.
Now, Brenda, you are a Broadway star, so you don't technically have to do this. So what inspired you to do this?
When I was in, I went to Catholic school for 8 years, and it was time for me to go to high school. And I had taken dance classes all my life, and I didn't want to go to a Catholic high school. So I had one teacher that told me about the High School of Performing Arts.
Hold on a minute, you mean Fame?
Yes.
Oh, girl!
And so I had no idea that that even existed.
Right.
And if it hadn't been for that one teacher that told me about that, there's no telling where I would have ended up.
Sure.
So I felt that if I could be that one person for one girl, then my life would be worthwhile.
Absolutely.
So that got me thinking, and I said, okay, well, you know, they need to hear about me.
They do.
This young girl from the Bronx who is now starring on Broadway, and her dream has been realized.
Now, Tony, over to you. You are both married. Can you just talk me through a little bit about B. Braxton's salon?
And the story surrounding it is, I read a magazine that's not in circulation anymore. But the article talked about a couple that met in the fall, and they dated the entire winter. So spring rolls around, and they're going to be to you know, go out on a date. And the guy put on a pair of flip-flops and a really nice outfit. And when his girlfriend came over, she says, "You know, great outfit, but you're not going anywhere with me with those feet looking like that."
Right.
You know, and he sort of went through the article trying to figure out where could he get a manicure and a pedicure, because there was nothing like this. And you know, I thought about it, and I said, you know, I'd probably do those things. You know, I'd get a facial, I'd get a manicure and pedicure. If there was an environment set up for men, like a really handsome space and, you know, sort of masculine. So I went home and I pitched it to my wife, and she loved the idea. And you know, 4 years later, we were in business.
Absolutely. I like the way that you said, I went home and I pitched it.